Alright, so let's say I happen to trade only fair value gaps. Maybe I just want to take trades from fair value gaps only. How will I do it? This video is going to explain it for you. Alright, so welcome back. This is Sloan Trades, and in this video we're going to be discussing fair value gaps and how you can trade from fair value gaps, and probably would add an addition of liquidity also in this particular video. Alright, so do what to like, subscribe, and share the video to your friends, to anybody that you know is finding it difficult in understanding forex trading. Alright, let's get started right into it. So I am going to leave a very important tip at this beginning before we continue, and then I'll reserve something to see towards the end. So firstly is fair value gaps are always respected on a higher time frame. Let me say it again. Higher time frame fair value gaps are more important than lower time frame fair value gaps, because in higher time frames the imbalances are very massive, and on lower time frames they can just be repeated price action over time. All right, so having known this particular tip, it basically means if you want to trade fair value gaps from a higher time frame, don't go to the 15 minutes and say you're trading fair value gaps, because 15-minute fair value gap might actually be a fractal structure of a much more higher time frame, which is the 4-hour daily time frame, depending on whichever time frame you find comfortable to trade with. So welcome back. Let's get started. This is AUD USD, and overall order flow is uptrend. We've been bullish for quite some time. All right, you can see from here we've been bullish for quite some time, and I want to take my entries from the fair value gaps. Now, I wouldn't catch much entries from this particular structure because it's a bit congested. But at this point, when there is a bit of space and a bit of expansions, manipulations, I can actually get a very good entry. So I'm going to be focusing everything that I'm going to talk about here on this particular zone. All right, so this is daily time frame on AUD USD, and we are looking for buy setups only. I'm going to from the daily time frame step down to the 4-hour time frame, and that will be the last time frame I will step down to and we'll discuss. Okay, so from this particular zone, we have a break of structure to the upside, and if you remember, this is the daily time frame, so it takes a very long time before this structure forms. So this is going to be a swing trade, saying I'm going to take my entry from fair value gap. This is particularly going to be a swing trade. So this was an expansion. Okay, so the expansion. Firstly, there was a drop down and there was a sweep of that low. There's a sweep of this low, which is a liquidity sweep. Then liquidity basically means that the market gains orders and then moves in a volatile manner. So after these orders were taken out, there was an expansion, which is volatility momentum, leaving behind this fair value gap here. Then a continuation, a retest, an uptrend, and furthermore. So there are actually things I'm looking out for this trade. I'm looking out for inducement and fair value gap. These are the two things that actually, when they are aligned in a particular trade, saying you're taking your entries on fair value gaps, that entry would be very valid and you would take the entry for a very long time, and put it that way. So the market eventually rallied around and then created a last a break of structure here, mitigated a key level on the weekly time frame around this zone, and then dropped. So while it dropped, it created another fair value gap. So saying I want to take sales, I was going to take my entry from here, but this is a bullish market and I'm not looking to take sales, I'm looking to take buys. So eventually you wait, because this is a little time frame and it takes time. Wait up until the market comes back down and fills the 50% of your fair value gap. The 50% of the fair value gap is called the consequent encroachment. Fills the 50% of the fair value gap, giving you a very refined entry and a high probability that that particular trade is going to play out. So this is when the market came back and mitigated this particular zone on the 4-hour time frame, and there was a buy. Alright, so I've already said how you can take your entries from the fair value gap. Number one is you wait for the market to come back to your entry, and then you take entries from the 50% of the fair value gap, which is the consequent encroachment. So let's say I cut this particular trade on the daily time frame, targeting this liquidity zone. This is a 6 RR trade, and it's a 157 pips take profit with a 26 pips stop loss. So this is quite a very nice trade. So saying I actually did catch this thing on the daily time frame using fair value gaps, this would have been what I would fall into. So going down to the 4-hour time frame, we are going down to the 4-hour time frame to observe more structure, to observe the fair value gaps that we're going to find very, very well. So at this zone is a void, a liquidity void. This happens when there is inactivity in the market, say Monday to Sunday to Monday. Then there are low traders in the market, so this gap is left. All right, so continuing, there are quite a couple of fair value gaps that were left behind here, starting from this one. This one was left behind. Then the zones after it actually were left behind, and market just came back down to refill everything. So once it did not actually pick an entry from here, I have no business with looking into this place again. Alright, so I'll just wait. So eventually the market did whatever it did around this zone, and then gave me another break of structure. So for every break of structure, there is going to be a corresponding other block, and there is going to be a corresponding inducement. So when I saw this break of structure, I am going to be looking out for firstly the inducement, saying I'm taking my entry from fair value gap, and this was the last low before the next break of structure, and this is going to be my inducement. And if you can see right below that inducement is the fair value gap. So this fair value gap now is my point of interest to take this particular trade, and eventually the fair value gap aligned with the structure. So I am taking buys from here. Then I'll still target the external range liquidity. The external range liquidity, which is at that particular high, which is going to be this high on a daily time frame, for example. Then eventually the market just started playing before it went for the weekend, for the it closed for the weekend. So this would have been a very nice setup on 4-hour time frame. Now stepping down more to the 1-hour time frame now, I think I spotted another fair value gap in the 1-hour time frame. Okay, okay, yes. This still is a fair value gap on the 1-hour time frame. This is a fair value gap on the 1-hour time frame, and it's actually aligned with the 4-hour time frame. So this is a very good entry. So you want to reduce your entry, that you want to have a much more refined entry. So this is a very good one. This fair value gap aligned with structure, and the market mitigated it and is moving now. Okay, so another fair value gap that I actually spotted was in a 4-hour time frame, and this particular fair value gap here, that it's just forming now. So eventually after it forms at the market opening, it's going to be a very, very good entry to it's going to be a very, very good entry to take. Okay, so this is all building up now, and eventually when it forms, we're going to be anticipating this move, and then a continuation. So when this happens, I'm going to take my entry from this fair value gap here, the 50% of it, obviously, because I can't take entry on a fair value gap from the top. One thing you should know about fair value gaps is the market must always feel the 50%. It always feels the 50% of the fair value gap. So this is going to be the entry I'm going to be looking at during the next week on AUD card. Say I am taking my entry from fair value gaps only. But if I'm not taking my entry from fair value gaps only, then I'll be looking out for this other block here. Okay. So I'm not taking my entry from fair value gaps only. Alright, so I think this basically covers everything we need to know about fair value gaps and the little of inducement. Okay, the little of inducement when it aligns with a fair value gap or a structural expansion, something like that. Alright, so thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video. Do also like, subscribe and share the videos. See ya.